So now we'll talk about two-point perspective. And again, for two-point perspective, I have made a horizon line on a sheet of paper with two vanishing points on either side of the paper. And I suggest that that's what you do for this exercise, although understand that those vanishing points could be anywhere on this horizon line, even off the page or off the picture plane on that invisible horizon line that it goes off into infinity on either side. Okay, so remember that. And two-point perspective, where you have two vanishing points, describes a scenario with the box again. Remember, this is one-point perspective. Two-point perspective is where that corner is the first thing facing you. Instead of the flat place facing you like it does in one-point perspective, the corner is facing you in some manner. There's lots of different scenarios for the corner to be the first thing facing you. So two-point perspective is the most common type of linear perspective that you're going to see in the real world, where a corner somehow is facing you as the viewer first. So that's what the two-point perspective scenario describes. So when we start on that, we simply, instead of starting with the boxes like we started on with the one-point perspective, we're going to start with that corner line. So that corner's facing, and I'm going to put a couple, 3 above that horizon line, 3 on the horizon line, just like you're asked to do in the exercises, and 3 below the horizon line. Now understand that these boxes, when we render them with the vanishing points right here on the picture plane, are going to seem a little squished, because typically in a reality situation they would be somewhere along the infinite horizon line further away from the center. But for the purposes of these exercises, it makes sense to just have them on the picture plane. So first thing from each of these little corner lines that you've drawn is to take the orthogonal from the top to this vanishing point, and then from the bottom of the line to this vanishing point. And then go on the other side, and from the top of that corner line to the vanishing point, and from the bottom of that corner line to the vanishing point. Okay? And then parallel to that corner line, you're going to make the sides. Decide where you want your box to stop. And then, because this particular box is above the horizon line, I have to figure out how to make the bottom. And the bottom is simply, again, going back to a vanishing point. You're going to go from that bottom corner to the opposing vanishing point here. This is sometimes hard to remember. It's nice to remind yourself by either rewatching this video or looking at some of the examples on the slides that that is how you get the two-point perspective box with two sides showing, one side here, one side here, and the bottom right here. Because it's above the eye level line, that's how you get that box to look like it's in two-point linear perspective. A box that exists on the horizon line, where you neither see the top nor the bottom, is simply going to come to each of the two vanishing points just like this, and then onto this side like this, and here like this. And I think it's a good idea, as you do each of these boxes in the exercises, to go ahead and color, re-outline them in marker as you create them, because you can see I'm going to end up with tons of lines all over this piece of paper, and I don't want you to erase the pencil lines. I want you to keep them on there. So in order to avoid too much confusion, it's a good idea to render your boxes with a black outline just as soon as you create them in pencil, so you don't get confused as to what lines belong to what box. Okay, so that's one on the horizon line where you see two sides and you don't see the top or the bottom. Here's one above the horizon line where you see two sides and a bottom. We'll do one more where you see the top, because it's a box that is below the horizon line or below the eye level line. Horizon line and eye level line are synonymous. The horizon line is always equal to your eye level, no matter where you are or what you're doing. You can prove that to yourself by going to the beach and looking at the horizon line and changing your height by sitting, laying, standing. The horizon line is always at your eye level. So there's the two sides, and I'm going to take the bottom on this opposite side and take it to that vanishing point, and the bottom on this side and take it to the opposing vanishing point, and that's how I make my 2-point perspective box below the horizon line, where you see a box that has a side, and a top. So that's your 2-point perspective, and you would do these other 6, and that would be the 2-point perspective exercise.